Just imagine, you go to a water park with your friends for fun, but the moment you dive into the water, you suddenly find yourself standing in a graveyard, face to face with a blood-soaked woman, and that woman hands you a coin that sticks to your life like a curse forever. Would you be able to escape, or be trapped in that curse for eternity? This isn't some movie script, but something I witnessed with my own eyes. Our company had arranged a picnic at a resort. After spending the whole day playing cricket and other games, we all went to the water park inside the resort. Some of my friends jumped into the deep pool, while the rest stayed in the shallow side. That's when we came up with a challenge. Someone would throw a coin into the water, and whoever retrieved it first would be the winner. One by one, everyone tried, but no one could find the coin. Then it was my turn. I dove in immediately, but the moment I reached the bottom, the scene changed completely. It felt like I was transported somewhere else. I could clearly see rows of graves beneath me, and right in the middle stood a woman, her attire strange, her face foreign-looking. In her hand was the same coin we had thrown. She stretched her hand toward me. For some reason, I felt pulled by her spell. I went closer and took the coin, but as I turned back, she gripped my hand tightly. In an instant, her face transformed. Her eyes began to bleed, and a terrifying smile spread across her lips. My body trembled with fear. Somehow, I yanked my hand free, and suddenly, I was back in the pool. I was gasping for breath, as if I had just woken from a nightmare. My friends pulled me out, asking what had happened, but I couldn't utter a word. When I slowly opened my fist, there it was, the same coin. My friends cheered, calling me the winner, but deep inside, I was shaken to the core. Later that evening, as we were sitting outside, an old man overheard our conversation and chuckled. "Son, back in the British era, this place used to be a graveyard. Maybe you just saw its ghost." Everyone laughed, but my heart froze. I knew what I had seen was no illusion. That night, while returning by bus, my heart was still pounding. Every shadow of a tree outside looked like that same woman's figure. When we reached the city, everyone went home. I too reached mine, but sleep refused to come. Every time I closed my eyes, her bloody eyes and terrifying smile haunted me. Around 3 a.m., I suddenly woke up. My room was dark, but the moonlight from the window revealed something chilling. The same coin was lying on my table, glowing faintly. I was stunned. I had kept it inside my bag. Sweat drenched my body. As I slowly reached out to pick it up, a cold wind rushed across the room. I felt as if someone was standing right behind me. Then came the sound of breathing, right at my neck. I couldn't even gather the courage to turn around. And then, in a whisper, that same woman's voice echoed in my ears. "You've got the coin. Now who will set my soul free?" My heart froze. I looked into the mirror and saw something impossible. No one stood behind me in reality, but in my reflection, she was there. Her bleeding eyes, her horrific face, staring at me. Terrified, I bolted out of the room. As soon as I opened the door, the corridor was drowned in darkness. Every step I took, I felt someone following me. While running down the stairs, her voice whispered again, "You've been chosen. You cannot escape." Panic-stricken, I rushed out of the house. But what I saw outside made my soul shiver. The road, the trees, the houses, everything was gone. All around me were graves. And in the middle, she stood again. This time in black clothes, her face even more horrifying. She raised her hand and said, "That coin belongs to me. Return it, or your soul will remain trapped here forever." I was about to throw the coin when suddenly the ground shook. Graves burst open and countless skeletons began to crawl out. Their hollow eye sockets stared straight at me. With all my strength, I hurled the coin away. The moment it hit the ground, everything vanished. I was back in my room, drenched in sweat. The coin was gone from the table. Everything seemed normal. But when I looked in the mirror, my neck bore fresh blue marks, like someone's hands had strangled me. When I saw those bluish marks on my neck in the mirror, my heart nearly stopped. It felt as if someone had truly tried to strangle me. I couldn't sleep the entire night. Fear and uneasiness kept me awake. By morning, I convinced myself that maybe it was all just my imagination. But when I reached the office, my colleagues began staring at me strangely. One of my friends laughed and said, "Bro, since when did you start wearing such a weird necklace?" "Looks fake. It's glowing blue from a distance." I froze. I wasn't wearing any necklace at all. Rushing to the bathroom, I looked in the mirror again. Those marks on my neck were faintly glowing with a strange bluish light. The ground beneath me seemed to vanish. When I splashed water on my face and looked back up, it wasn't my face staring from the mirror anymore. It was hers, the same blood-soaked woman, her eyes boring deep into mine. And then a chilling whisper filled my ears. "You returned the coin, but my soul is still trapped. Until you set me free, your life will remain drowned in my shadow." Suddenly, the bathroom lights began to flicker violently. The door slammed shut on its own. Darkness swallowed the room. And then I felt them. Dozens of icy hands crawling across my back. Terrified, I screamed at the top of my lungs. But outside, not a single person could hear me. Inside the pitch-dark bathroom, I kept banging on the door again and again, but it wouldn't budge an inch. Suddenly, streams of water began trickling down the tiles. Slowly, those watery lines formed letters. 1857, my grave, beneath the lake. Every hair on my body stood on end. This wasn't some ordinary spirit. It was the spirit of an Englishwoman, someone who had probably been killed during the struggle for independence. The moment those letters vanished, the door creaked open on its own. When I stepped outside, everyone stared at me as if I had gone insane. My clothes were completely drenched, even though I hadn't touched a drop of water. That night, back at home, I began digging through the internet. I typed the resort's name, and what popped up made my blood run cold. This resort is built over a British-era cemetery. It is said that a foreign woman died here under mysterious circumstances. Her body was never recovered. Everything became clear. The woman I had seen in the water, it was her. And the coin she gave me wasn't just a coin, it was a cursed token, the very thing binding her restless soul. That night again, sleep refused to come. Around 2 a.m., my window flung open on its own, and a cold wind filled the room. But the wind wasn't the only thing that entered. The coin. It rolled straight onto my bed, spinning slowly in circles. And then she appeared. The woman. Her eyes filled with blood, her face more terrifying than ever. She raised her finger at me and declared, "Now you will complete my path. Refuse. And by the next full moon, your death is certain." That woman's shrill voice still echoed in my ears. "By the next full moon, your death is certain." I was trembling uncontrollably. That night, everything in my room began to feel strange. The photos on the wall started shaking. The clock's hands spun backward, and suddenly, the lights went out. In the darkness, her shadow appeared again and again. Sometimes near the window, sometimes by the door, and sometimes right behind me. By morning, I decided I had to end this somehow, but the more I tried to escape, the closer she seemed to come. On the third day, something terrifying happened at the office. During a meeting, the projector suddenly switched on by itself, and on the screen, her face appeared. My colleagues stared in confusion, whispering that it was just some strange fog on the screen. But to me, her face was crystal clear. Now I was certain her curse was real. She was following me everywhere. That night, I found the coin on my pillow again, but this time, words carved in blood were etched across it. "Return it to the lake, or blood will flow." My heartbeat quickened. Suddenly, water began to rise in my room, first to my ankles, then to my knees, until it felt like I was back in the resort's pool. From beneath the water, she swam toward me, her face rotten, her eyes bulging out. She gripped my throat and hissed, "You are mine now." I thrashed and kicked with all my strength, struggling for air, when suddenly my eyes snapped open. I was lying on my bed. But this time, the marks on my neck were darker, deeper. as if her fingers had pressed harder into my flesh. The final night. The entire sky was covered by a blood-red moon. I went to the lake, holding the coin in my hand. The moment I threw it into the water, the lake began to boil, and she emerged from beneath the surface. She stared at me for a moment, and then suddenly sank back into the water. Everything went silent, but when I leaned over and looked into the lake, I saw my own face, drowned, with blood streaming from my eyes. Had I freed her, or had I taken her place, trapped forever? To this day, no one knows. If you enjoyed this true, scary story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon, because I bring such mysterious stories for you every week. Which place's horror story do you want to hear next? Make sure to tell me in the comments below.